What's poppin', yo? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at forearms. Today we're getting into the big guns. Today we're getting into the OGs, the originals, the big boys. And I'm gonna be honest, with the original sort of group of aliens, with the OG ones, they always had this black and white design for their main torsos, and they had another primary color. So for Diamond Head and Accelerate, they were both blues, but they also had black and white elements to them. With Cannonball, it was a yellow. With Grey Matter, it was obviously grey. With Heat Blast, it was red. With the water guy, the anglerfish, Big Mouth, whatever it's called, Lockjaw, it was a white as well. And with Stingfly, it was a green. With Wildmutt, it was an orange. They all had their primary colors that coincided with the white and black. Obviously, this has quite a few signs of wear and tear. I have played with this one quite often, but this one does have quite a few points of articulation. It has the basics, like 6, which you get with the 2 at the top for the shoulders, the 2 at the elbows, 2 at the legs, but then it has an extra 4 for his bonus arms and the knee joint as well. Which not many Ben 10 figures had back in the day. His joints are a little stiff, but that's because obviously I haven't used him in a while, and his eyes are misprinted. They're like off-centered, so they're off to the side a little bit. And Forearms was another one of those characters who was used way more than he should have. He was like the main alien, the one that was used all the time. He was the fan favorite, the big seller, and genuinely, his thing was just strength. He was a beast. He was a tank. He was a unit. He had 4 arms, and his name pretty much said it all. He was strong, and that's all he really had going for him. Like, Accelerate had speed. Heat Blast had fire. We had Stingfly, who could fly and could shoot acid. Like, everyone had their abilities. He kind of felt like the one which could be used in the most scenarios because he was the most basic, the most like versatile, because it's just strength, and strength can be used like all the time. So he got picked majority of the time. It was either him or Heat Blast. When you stuck on an episode of Ben 10, you knew it was either going to be Heat Blast, Accelerate, or Forearms. They were the main 4. The others were like made specifically for certain episodes. Like, they were tailor-made for certain situations, very, very specific situations, and wasn't as sort of versatile as the main 3. And that's what kind of led me to hate the main 3, because obviously they were just used too often and gave my favorites less chance to be, shown. And it kind of led to a little bit of hatred to Forearms. I always thought he was a bit basic in terms of design. He's just a big dude with 4 arms, and he's red. He's angry. He's got the muscle. And that's pretty much all I saw him as. And he's just wearing generic clothes as well. He just looks like an overgrown, like, gym bro with extra abs to do extra pumps of iron. He just isn't it. He isn't it. There's better aliens than Forearms in terms of like design and in terms of powers, but in like being the most versatile, it is Forearms. Like, being realistic, Forearms would be the alien you'd use the most, because if you're opening a jar of something, a jar of jam, and you can't get into it, who are you going to use? Accelerate or Forearms? If you're in a jam, if you've got your car stuck in mud, who are you going to use? Heat Blast or Forearms? If, I don't know, let's say you're in a fight, a fist fight, with an average guy, who are you going to use? Upgrade or Forearms? You got to go with Forearms, really. There's really no situation that you can do with any of the others that you can't do already with Forearms. Want to start a fire? Heat Blast would be easier, but with the strength, you could pick up wood and rub them together pretty good and make a fire. You could even use Accelerate for that situation to speed it up and make the fire. Obviously, we have the different abilities, like he is using Mega Friction, and Accelerate is using speed to create that friction, but he's using his strength to do it, so he can do the same fucking thing. Honestly, he's just too basic for my liking, and I think he's quite boring. He does also fall victim of the random screws in the back to hold it together. I don't fucking like that. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't have many action figures, but for whatever reason, the older the action figure is, the more likelihood it has of having random fucking screws in the back. I don't get that. I don't know why. Who is taking apart their action figures? What the fuck? I kind of want to unscrew it and see what's inside it, but then I feel like I'll never get it back together again. But you know what? That's 4Abs. Sorry, it's been a little bit of a angry video. You can probably tell that I'm not a huge fan of 4Abs. I promise you, in the next couple of videos, I'll be more upbeat because there's more characters which I do quite like. Other than that, toodles.